Hi there, Lucy from Cleverbean. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my top activities that I like to do surrounding comprehension for my literacy groups or reading activities. We're going to look at really open-ended activities that really tackle off those prime comprehension strategies and things that you can use if you are in the younger grades and all the way up to the older grades. So stay tuned.
One of my absolute favourites for comprehension is using Lego, and I definitely use this from kindergarten all the way up to 6. I get these little cups from IKEA. You can also get them from Kmart. And basically, whatever you are focusing on in comprehension, you can get the students to respond using Lego. So that could be the main idea, their favourite part of the story, a summary of the story as well. And so I use these cups because I don't want kids to pick through and find bits and pieces that will match. I want them to be really creative and use whatever they get. So I literally just get them to get a cup and then get a scoop of Lego, and that's what they use to build. And so students normally do this in groups or individually as well. And it's amazing. Kids are so creative and just so busy with this one as well. Next favourite is getting students to pull out a sentence, a really descriptive sentence. And this can either come from a picture book that you're sharing all together as a class, or with the older grades, they can get it out of like a chapter book that they're reading. So they write down one descriptive sentence that they find in their book, and they have to draw a visual image to go with that sentence. So it's all about being able to pull out those descriptive words and then being able to represent it visually with a picture and how they think the author is wanting them to visualize it. So another great one, students really love this one, and the idea actually came from a student who wanted to represent the really descriptive language that he was seeing in his chapter book. Next activity is all about summarising, and it's all about using quality text to do summaries. You can also use chapter books, but basically students take 3 post-it notes and they can either write or draw what happens in the beginning of the chapter or the story, what happens in the middle, and what happens at the end. And of course, you can change this for students in the older grades. So for the students who are still trying to grasp this concept, you can actually take the post-it notes and pop them inside the book just to help them out a little bit more. Next activity is getting students, you can either use post-it notes or whiteboards for this, but getting students to write 6 keywords that summarize a text. So it can be really tricky. In the older grades, you could call it a 6-word story and you could still use the post-it notes. I like using the post-it notes because they can write as many as they want and then start cutting it back to just making sure that they have only got 6. Brilliant activity for teaching students how to monitor, and this is particularly great for the older grades, but also can work really well in your reading groups for the youngers, but I do it more with the kids. So basically coming up with some different symbols for different parts of the text that they read, and then I give them a goal to have 3. So when they are reading, to have 3 parts that they are monitoring. And so they come up and they grab 3 post-it notes and they stick them actually in their book, whatever they're reading, their chapter book, and then they write down here like what was their favorite part, or what was something that was really funny or interesting, and then they stick it where they found it. You also can just use the symbols rather than getting them to write it as well. They are my 5 top comprehension activities that I love to use in my literacy groups or reading groups on a regular basis. For more fabulous ideas and more tips and tricks, you can head over to cleverbean.co and check out our lessons.